Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Imagine if your work everyday routine, right? So, if you were to check your email, manage your task, and opening a new browser tab, imagine if while you're doing it, you could at the same time be solving the global water crisis. Yes, you're not dreaming. This is actually feedback that we have from one of our guests today, and I'm sure you're going to be enjoying talking to him, right? So just give me a second because I think yes, I could see that. Okay, excellent. And the problem is actually we live, and because we live, obviously, sometimes you have a little bit of technical issues, but we back on track. I was just imagine if your everyday work routine, so checking your emails, managing your tasks, or even just opening a new browser, if you could do that, but at the same time solve the global water crisis, yes, you are not dreaming. This is the vision of Aiders for Water. And today I am very much thrilled to welcome the founder of this wonderful company. It's called Andrea Demichelis. And when Andrea started, this company, I think initially started as a obviously power search engine, but it later changed it into much more interesting, evolved into something that is much more seamless. That is become a productivity dashboard that sort of turn your browsing into clean water project. That's interesting, right? But how does it do it? Why shifting the model? And what does that mean for the future of passive impact? That is what Andrea is here to unpack with us. So how Elliot Water combine productivity tools with measurable ESG impact. That proving us that we can change our habits, and also at the same time as well change lives. So we're going to dive into that. So let me just first of all welcome Andrea in a minute. But for now, let me just first of all make sure that we run very quickly our quick intro, and after that we are for it. Hey, we back again. So obviously we talked about Aiders for Water. That's what I was saying. So, but before that, let me just introduce myself because some of you may not know me. So I am Tony Teo, the founder of Renewables in Africa. What we do very simple. We raise awareness about renewable energy, but also sustainability. So if you're interested to break into Africa or to expand the beautiful continent, we are your eco bridge to this market. We can help you with three things: visibility, leads, and deals. Yes, so reach out to me if any of this interests you. Or if you're looking to decarbonize, we again add your eco bridge to sustainable pathway, and we can help with carbon footprint assessment and local carbon reduction strategy. So as I say, if any of it obviously rings a bell to you, reach out to me because I very much would like to have a conversation with you. But for the time being, let me just welcome Andrea. So Andrea, so are you here with me?
Of course, I'm there. Thank you very much for having me.
That's a pleasure, Andrea. Like I said, so you've built something quite interesting there. So I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to welcome you on board and to make sure that we can talk about that a little bit more into detail. But before we dive into that, I think it's fair for you to introduce yourself, tell people who you are, so what you're doing, and after that, like I said, I have some series of questions that I want to ask you, and then whoever is watching, by the way, so if you have any questions, just type it, in on LinkedIn and YouTube, Facebook, type it in the comment section. I'll pick it up and share it with Andrea, and we can take it forward. So, Andrea, please.
So, as you said, my name is Andrea, and I'm the founder of Elliot for Water. And I think my journey was pretty straightforward in a way. I initially moved to Paris to study in a business school, and my idea was to become a stockbroker and make as much money as I possibly could and retire by 40 years old, which is completely not what I'm doing right now. So the good thing was that already in my mind, I wanted to become a broker that was investing and that was focused on renewable energies and green energies and all these kind of things. So the moment I started studying finance and sustainable development, I then little by little switched to the idea of focusing more on the sustainable development side. And that's at school where I started to get to know more about the water field and all the issues that there are in the world because of waters and what that means for the people in developing countries without access to water. And little by little, I understood that I just didn't want to make money anymore just for the sake of making money, because it didn't have a point anymore in my mind. What I wanted to do was to create something that could have an impact in the world, that yes, could be a successful company economically, but at the same time I wanted it to be impactful either for people or for the planet or for something else, because otherwise, in my head, it was pointless to do it just for the sake of getting rich. I wanted to, the process that I had in my head was to create something that in 100 years, when I will not be there anymore, it was still there impacting the world. So that's where all it started from, the whole idea that everything else. And that's why I decided to go into social entrepreneurship and create something that could have an impact in other people's. And then I started to work on the company, did a lot of different things in the meanwhile to sustain, pay the salary, pay, you know how it works, the classic entrepreneurial journey. And as you said, we started as a search engine and now switched to the productivity dashboard.
Excellent. So definitely you left the dark side to come to the brighter side.
Yeah, I did. It was good because it gave me a point of start. So
Okay. Definitely. So I absolutely get you there. So the entrepreneurship journey, it's a very tough journey. So I must admit. So you may be connected to your mission, but making it work financially, it's definitely a tall order. But you're gonna keep going at it. That's why if you don't have a real purpose, it's difficult for you to be going anywhere. So obviously we're talking about Elliot for Water. First of all, I love the names, right? So like I say, when I would talk to you the first time is when I saw that, it reminds me of a movie, book, or something like that. I was like, okay. I was like, what is that Elliot for Water, right? So it looks like those Harry Potter type of things. Yeah,
I love that.
that's the idea I have. And you've been talking about like any company, you've had a journey, right? So you started with an idea, but you evolve into something else because obviously, like I say,
Yeah.
you want to make it a profitable business while obviously as well doing good things in the world. So you began as a search engine, but you shift into a productivity dashboard model, while keeping water impact at the core. So, what actually explains your shift?
Yeah. So as you just said, the business needs to be successful and needs to be profitable, because the more the business is successful, the more we can help. The more we can help, the more the business becomes successful and creates this vortex of positivity. So the two things need to go together. The social impact alone is not enough to have a big impact. So the two things need to be working tight and needs to be on top of their game. Otherwise, it's not going to work. That's the whole base of social entrepreneurship. We initially started as a search engine because the idea was, I want to give people the opportunity to help by doing something that they already do every day, which was searching the web. But on the business side of things, the search engine was not sustainable for a couple of reasons. First of all, is because even though you're asking people to do something that they already do automatically, you're asking people to change from Google, which is a pretty big thing to ask. So unless you
Your
have,
ChatGPT.
yeah, and that was the next point. That was the next point, because initially it was just Google, but already now you don't look for things on the internet anymore. You Google things in the internet. So it was a big ask, and we needed to work with other companies to make this happen. Meaning that we had a collaboration with Microsoft and Bing. They were giving us the search results and the advertisement, the sponsor links. But that means that in order to have an impact, you needed to have millions of users. And the moment that Microsoft decided to cut things down because they changed the project or because they changed the business, then we would be left without our core system. So on the long term, it would have not been sustainable. It would have been way too dangerous. And still, to compete with Google, even at the time, you needed a lot of fundings just to stay in the game, because obviously Google keeps on developing. And then what happened, just like you mentioned, ChatGPT came in. So ChatGPT came in. Now, even myself, I think 7 searches out of 10, I don't even go to Google anymore. I just ChatGPT things, because I'm not looking for things. I want answers. And with the AI, it's way easier now. It's way faster, which means that in 5 years, even the search engine like Google are going to change the way we search the web. And unless you have billions behind, it's going to be very complicated to stay with them. to even think about competing, it would be impossible. So all things considered, we decided to switch to the productivity dashboard because one, we became completely independent, meaning that we are the owner of our own product. We develop the widgets, we develop the productivity tools, we work on top of the browsers instead of competing with Google. We work with Google, we work with Firefox, we work with Edge. And there are no other companies that can decide to cut our main source of revenue out, because now we are in charge of everything. So Bing or Microsoft cannot say anymore, okay, we don't want to work with you anymore because we just bought ChatGPT, so we don't need other partners right now. Now we are in charge of our own destiny. And the way it works as a productivity dashboard is very simple. So people download the extension from the Chrome market. So they just click a button, and then every time they open a new tab in their laptop, instead of having the white page that they usually have, they're gonna have our dashboard with a background, with your to-do list, with your links, with your goal of the day, and later on integration with their own the platform that they're already using. So in this way, we are giving something that is more useful for people, especially people who work or study. And also it puts us in the position to have, and which is will be our core, a very strong B2B program, meaning that we can now work with companies, integrate all the integrations and all the platform that they're already using to work, may add them to our dashboard so that the employees at any time that they open a new page, they always know where they are, they always know what they need to do, they always know, they always at any given time whatever it is that they need to work. And we can provide them now with ESG reporting, meaning that we can tell them simply by your work this month you have donated 3,000 liters of water, or you have helped 50 people in Guinea-Bissau in this village, and now this village is having water access, is having a market garden, is having access to education, and all these kind of things. So the whole product becomes way more powerful, gives us way more revenue source, because right now we can split up the free version with a small sponsor. We can have the pro version that people can pay and have more integration, and then the business to business version where companies pay us month to month to have all the different integrations, to have the ESG reporting, to have also their own ESG data connected to our own, so that we can give them a full-blown report of everything they are doing. And they can also use our own ESG and our own sustainability experience to increase their impact with other opportunities or other actions and whatnot. So it changes completely the business from something that was risky and that required tons and millions of people using it, with something that is completely in our own, gives us way more, it's way more sustainable even for the investors, is more sustainable for us, and it gives us a complete freedom and a complete opportunity to do whatever it is that we want to do and be completely in charge at all times. So this is why we decided to switch.
I think that's completely makes sense, and I think thank you for explaining that. That's actually quite interesting. So I definitely believe that I think the dashboard, right? I think maybe at some point we may show very quickly how it looks like. So it let users donate water just by browsing, right? So that's actually quite interesting, right? So how did you land on this work to give approach, if you can turn this way? And why is it better than the old search engine?
You mean why the revenue going, part of the revenue going to the water projects?
So first of all, how did you manage to, like I say, how did you come up with this? Because it's a new model, right? It's almost like
Yeah.
working to give, right? So how did you thought about that? And why do you think it's better than the old search engine, which you kind of almost already replied? Yeah.
So, because the idea, which is similar to when we started as a search engine, is that we want to give companies and people the opportunity to help without even realizing that they are helping. Is almost a consequence. So we are providing them a service that is useful for them, that they are using and that they want to pay to use. And on top of that, they also have the social impact. So basically, we want to give a service, a useful service, and then on our side, we take care of the social impact, basically, so that they can have all the advantages in the world. And we, with part of our revenue, like 20% of our revenue, we decide that we want to give to the water project, meaning that it becomes a win-win situation because companies can have a nice productivity dashboard. They can have social proof that through their work they are helping a water project without having to pay anything extra, because they're not making any donations, they're not changing the way they work, they're not putting extra softwares, they are simply adding a Chrome extension, keep on going with their day. It's plug and play. They don't need any training, they don't need to change the water system inside of the building where they are working, or changing the place where they work, and all this kind of stuff. It's extremely simple, and then they work, we take care of the water sides, and we tell them, okay, thank you, with your work this month you have done this, this, and this. So this is where it all started. And also, if you go in the specifics of the water projects, charities in the world, they more or less they cover 4 to 5% of what it will take to give water to every person in the world. So donations alone, they are not, as of today, they are not enough to give water to everyone. So we needed to do something extra. We need to propose extra solutions on top of the charities. And creating something like this gives us the opportunity to contribute even more to the cause, to raise more awareness, to open up more campaigns, and increase the impact that we have on top of the charities doing their work on the other side, so that we can combine everything in the same place. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to go and help the people, and we want to go and give water to everyone. So if we combine this with the charity already existing, we can increase the total impact. And I think that's pretty important, even because the more work we can do, the more successful we can become, the more awareness people are going to have for the water field, meaning that in 5 years they can decide to turn around and say, you know what, this thing is important. We are already helping a lot of people with my work, and I want to do something extra. I want to create a campaign on my own. I want to tell other people. I want to make extra donations. I want to create an awareness campaign on top of what I'm already doing. So it's something that helps even more the cause, and because we all have to, basically, we all have to help each other. Social entrepreneurship, social enterprises, charities, people working. So the more we can do, the better it is.
Excellent. So I just wanted to very quickly show that. I think. Let me know. Can you see my screen by any chance?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the model there.
That's
So
our MVP. That's our demo version. Yes.
Yeah. So when people obviously click on it, so or open a new tab, so they have all of this dashboard. That's where you see your to-do list, your quotes. Obviously you can sponsor here. So yeah, I think that I just wanted to show to people how we look like, right? So this is the, because I've done, because you told me obviously that anybody can download it, so which is what I did, and I must admit I like the look of it. Is there anything you can very quickly say in here? So yeah, oh look at that, oh wow, that's brilliant.
So yeah, we need to show at any times. We need to show how much impact we are having through the dashboard, because people need to know what they are doing. That what they are doing is having an impact in the world. So the more, this is, as I was saying, this is just an MVP, is a demo that we just put out. We need to now build a more proficient and better version. And moving forward, we want to give everyone the opportunity to see at any given time that what they are doing is having the impact, and where their impact is being done, in what part of the world, with what charity, and all these kind of things, and even for the transparency for everyone, to give an extra motivation for people who are already using it.
Okay, no, that I think like That's very cool. That's very cool. That's yeah. That's just to give an idea to people how it looked like. So definitely, it's a very interesting platform to see. So, and quick question for you. So you obviously talked about the fact that it's a work to give a project, explained how beautiful it is. So how can you now convince people to install this browser? How can you convince them it's worth the payoff, especially when we know that yes, they're contributing to more water in the world, but it's not directly personal. So why should they come really to Elliot for water?
This is what we were talking about initially, is the business side. So as I was saying, even though it's a social enterprise and we have a social impact, the social impact is not enough for people to use it all the time unless they are a big supporter of the water projects, because it would be like asking for donations, and that's not what we are. We are a social enterprise, and to be successful and to have people use it, our main goal is to make sure that the platform becomes as good as humanly possible, so that people will want to use it regardless of the social impact. The social impact will be the cherry on top, basically. So what we need to do is develop the dashboard in a way that it becomes so useful that people just use it every day because they find it useful, because they have them studying, because it helps them working, because it helps them stay more organized. And on top of that, they have the social impact. But the very base of why people should use it or is stays the core of the product. So the productivity dashboard, we need to make sure that is as strong as possible, even for the companies. And if I may quick say something quick, we are just
Please.
starting our B2B pilot program, meaning that we have a couple of different companies that are testing the product right now, and that we will build the B2B version with, meaning that as soon as we develop new tools for the companies, we ask them to test them, and then we give them as you saw, the sponsor widget. We're gonna give them space during this program in the sponsor widget. So any companies that want to take part in the pilot program, they are more than welcome to join and to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
for the companies, as I was saying, we need to build a very strong product, and we need to build a very strong analytic platforms in terms of the ESG reporting. So we need to be able to give them as much data as possible. Obviously, there are going to be different subscriptions, so a startup don't necessarily need to have all the information as Microsoft was a
Mm-hmm.
big enterprise, for example. So they can take the subscription where they only have basic information about the ESG, or they can decide to go a step further and have as much data as possible, so that they can then use it in their own ESG reporting, stakeholders, social media, marketing, and investors. So the all why besides the social impact is creating a very strong product.
Excellent. So, and you talked about ESG. I think you have a couple of questions that I've received in my inbox. But let me just first of all, you talked about ESG. So you're making ESG impact measurable for individual, right? So not just corporation. And why is this democratization important for the future of sustainability? Would you say?
Because it opens up more doors and it opens up more opportunities, and it gives also the people, everyday people, without not everyday people, like people outside of corporations, the possibility to help on their own. Even because we all use the Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever it is, we are all constantly on our laptops. So I don't necessarily need to be a corporate to use the dashboard. I can have my own dashboard with my own integration, with my own things, because I find it useful. I use it personally, even without being a huge corporation. So it's something that is
Mm-hmm.
important, and it gives everyone the opportunity to do something more while they're organized. So why not giving everyone the opportunity to do it? And it helps increase the impact, even because let's say that, as you all saw right now, we have the sponsor widget that is going to be there for the free version, so for the people outside of corporation using it. So let's say that we have 10 companies using dashboard, and then we have 10,000 users outside of companies, like normal user using our dashboard. And the more people we have using dashboard, the more we can charge the sponsor later on, the more we can increase our impact. So if we have 10,000 users, we can charge X. If we have 1 million users using a dashboard, then we can charge way more, meaning that the more people are using it, the more the impact increases, because the more money we are going to make and the more part of the revenue will go to the water projects. So it's all about increasing our impact, increasing the profitability of the company, the revenue streams, and the impact that we can have in the water projects, basically.
Okay, excellent. I think I just want to pick up one of the questions that I received. I'll show that to you, which is how does the dashboard track my impact? Can I see how much water I personally help fund?
Okay, so as of today, we are working on the impact with our charity partner, which is called Well Found. They are a local charity based out of London. And what we do is that we work with them for data of the project that we realize. For example, we realized together with them, in collaboration with them, a water project in a village in Guinea-Bissau for 350 people. And they are telling us how much water is being taken out of the well, so we can calculate that with that. And they are telling us all the training that they are doing with the village, and the fact that now they connected a market garden, and now people are raising their own food, and they are selling the food that they don't need so that they make extra money, and the kids now go to school because the village has the money to pay for the school fees and for the teachers and things like this. And the personal impact is going to be introduced little by little, because obviously it takes a lot of back-end work and a lot of tracking system. So it's something that is in our roadmap for the development, and we want to introduce it so that people are now, they see the global impact, but as soon as we can, we want to introduce the personal impact counter so that people can see exactly through their work how much they are donating. And this needs to be done in collaboration with the charities that work with us, obviously, at all times. And also, yeah, so that's the answer.
Excellent, that's fine. So another question I received from somebody sending me a message. What productivity tool does the dashboard include? Is it compatible with app like Trello or Notions?
That's exactly what we were talking about before. This is the type of development that we need to build on. So our current MVP is very basic, and it has our own to-do list and our own widgets. But where the core of the productivity dashboard needs to lay on is integration with this application, with Trello, with Notion, with Monday.com, with Slack, because we know that people are already using other to-do lists, other management tools, other platforms. So what we need to do is to create integration with this software, with this website, so that at any time that they open a new page, they have over there their Trello widget. They have over there their Notion notification. That's exactly the point. This is going to be crucial for people using it, because right now this person, I'm assuming he will be open to use it if we have this integration. And same things work with companies, because companies, they already have their own software that they are using, their own platform that they're using. So our job is to integrate with those platforms so that at any given time in the dashboard, they always have their Trello, their Notion, the Slack, their Microsoft Chat, and all these kind of things. So absolutely, in the final version, these things are going to be implemented and put inside of the dashboard, because they are the heart of the product. They're going to be the heart of the product.
Okay, that's a great answer there. So let me just pick up. There's another question that I was just guys. I would say feel free also to have it directly in the chat, but otherwise, so that's okay. Let me just see if he has come down here the questions, because I've seen that on LinkedIn, but I don't know whether it has already arrived here. But I can read that to you anyway. So the question was that, is it hard to compete with Chrome default no tab page. What is your strategy to get people to switch?
It's not that hard because we work on top of Google Chrome, and right now Google Chrome is not offering something like this. It's a very basic white page with the search engine, basically with your visited links, which we already have, and we have the search bar on top if you want with whatever search engine you're using, or otherwise people usually just use the address bar to make any search that they're doing. So the strategy is again to develop as many widgets as possible so that it becomes extremely useful. And then going towards the B2B side is creating a platform that combines well with what the company is using, with the way the company is working on a day-to-day basis, and give them integrate this ESG reporting. So it's not really a competition, because even if they added something, what we need to work on is integrate external websites, like the other person just asked, Trello or Notion. So we need to integrate these things so that it gets external validation in a way, so that people can actually plug and play whatever they use, regardless of where they use it. So it goes outside of the Google ecosystem, because Trello, for example, is not something that you can have on your Google Drive. It's something that stays external. So with a dashboard like ours, we can integrate every kind of system that people are using. The Google one, the Trello one, the Monday.com one. So I hope that answered the question.
I think it answered that very well. Answered very well. Let me just pick up. I think I did receive another questions. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Do you offer teams or enterprise plans for company wanting to track collective ESG impact?
Yeah, that's the key thing. That's what we are developing right now. Our core business, I believe, is going to be in the B2B and the team enterprises plan, where companies use it and when they can decide how much of a ESG they want to have. No, sorry, how much of a reporting they want to have, and with the biggest plan being biggest subscription, sorry, being a collective ESG impact, meaning the impact that they are having on water through us, the impact that the water projects are having locally as a consequences, like education, like women empowerment, like CO2, and the impact that the company is already having on their own, so that we can give them an analytics platform, an ESG platform that collects every data that there is on their own and our own, and put them together so that at any given time, at any given moment, they click on a button, they download the reporting, and they know exactly what they are doing, how well they are doing, where they are, the impact that even the different departments are having, because we can split the impacts between the sales department and the marketing department and the HR department, so that every department has its own impact tracking system, and the company can see every time where they are and who's giving up more and who's adding more and who's adding in different ways. So absolutely, that's going to be key, and that is what
Excellent.
to develop right now.
Excellent. I think you're probably going to be coming very closely to wrapping up this interview, but I can see more and more people seem to be interested now.
That's good. That's good.
Feel free to drop question in the comment box. So what we can do, even after we finish, so I'm sure Andrea will be looking at the question that we have on the comment section, and he replied to that. But you talked about obviously giving confidence and trust to people that what they're seeing here, it's actually genuine and they can properly track those data. So I know early on in the previous version, so you looked at blockchain for transparency, but I think now you've decided maybe not to use that immediately, probably in the next future. So how do you then ensure trust in impact reporting without having that tech layer?
We need to work closely with our charity partners, and we need to have all the trust in the world. And not that we need to have the trust in the world, but we need to pick extremely wisely the charities that we work with and the companies that we work with for the water projects. And they have in place reporting systems already, because they've been working locally for more than 10 years. So far, they are our own source of reporting, because they work with the local governments. They are a trusted charity in UK, so they have a very strong trust base and they have a very strong experience in the field. And the water projects is something that is extremely delicate and takes a lot of experience to do. You cannot just go and dig a well wherever you want without consequences, because it's crazy to think about it, but sometimes people finance clean water projects and then the local criminal goes and start and basically steal the well and start selling the water on its own with his own local army to the villages around, or people die because of water access in many parts of the world. So we need to choose carefully the charities that we work with, and we need to work with them for all the reporting, because they have the right tools, they have the right systems in place, they work with the right people, and they have the trust and the transparency to do that. Even legally speaking, they need to be transparent for legal reason, because they are the charities and they have to do it. So what we're going to do is that we are going to make the donations that we do as transparent as we possibly can on our side, and then rely on their own transparency policies and tracking policies for what regards the water projects, so that we can combine the two things and give people as much of view of what is happening as humanly possible.
Excellent. That's for that. So if this model succeeds, what other global issue do you believe could be tracked by this productivity for good tools, which is a model that you're launching?
Basically, you can do whatever you want. Now it's for water, but if tomorrow you decide to do Elliot for trees, technically you could do it. So the thing with water is that it's an issue that is so big, because there are more than 500 million people who don't have access to water, and then it's something that it gets political in some places, and corruption and issues, or criminal organizations. So it's something that is extremely big, and it's something that is gonna keep us occupied for quite some time, let's say. But the beautiful thing about water is that it's not just access to water, because water is the single most impactful element that we have in the world. Once you give access to water, as a consequence, you take care of the health issues, because there are tons of health issues and diseases that comes from the quality of water that people drink. Take care of women empowerment, because in most cases, women are the one who go and work 5 or 6 hours a day to go collect water. Once the village, once people have access to water, women can work. Women take care of their family. Women take care of their future. They don't have to take care of the water anymore. You have education, meaning the kids as well usually go and take water. So it's women and kids usually. So now the kids have the opportunity to go to school, meaning education, meaning a better future, meaning a better economy later on. So the village itself, like the example of the water project that we realized, now they are generating a small economy around the agriculture, meaning that they are creating more money, kids are going to school, they are buying new clothes, they are buying new materials. So from water, it then goes and impact every other aspect of life. And if you think about it, even historically, every major city has been built on top of water, on top of a river in any case. Paris, London, Rome, any of the big majority of people, they all set around the big source of water. So the same thing works in any place of the world. When you have a water source, then everything else can flourish. And it just happens automatically. Our job is simply to help people get access to water, then they can take care of themselves. And the system itself can work with anything, because it's a system where people use a service, and then we redirect part of our revenue toward a social cause. For us, the water was the most important one, because I just said is the most impactful one. But theoretically, it can be switched to any other issues that we want, if you want, or even later on, if we want to have an education project or a renewable energy project together with the water project, we can combine it. And actually, I'm going to take the chance because there are corporations that we are talking to that they would like to use to also support local projects in UK, for example. So what we are proposing to enterprises is the opportunity to um, split in half our impact source. So we now want to donate 20% of revenue for the water project. But what we can do with some of the enterprises that want to do it is that let's do half and half. 10% goes toward our water projects because that's our goal and that's what we want to create awareness around. 10% goes to the local project that you are more passionate about. So already with what we are doing, we can go and tackle other social causes, and this is a win-win because companies, they can give back to their local communities, they can give back to other projects, and at the same time we have more people using the thing. We have an extra 10% that we wouldn't have otherwise that goes to water, and it creates more awareness for people as well. So already with what we are trying to do now, we can impact other social causes with what the enterprises are more passionate about.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I think that was a very strong, I would say, strong pitch for people to consider Elliot for Water, as their
Thank you very much.
productivity tool in order for them to move forward. So, Andrea, it has been a pleasure for me to welcome you
Pleasure is
this
all mine.
morning. And I think that we've had a chance to properly understand what your company is doing, what the tool that you built is doing, and how the future could potentially look like. So I'm sure we're going to have some further conversation in the future. But I just wanted to take the time to appreciate you and then wish you all the best with Elliot for Water, and then looking forward to talk to you very soon. Thank you for that, Andrea.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
Excellent, Andrea. I think that's great. Let me just allow you to go. And as you see, so obviously we've had Andrea. So thank you very much for showing us how innovation can turn something as simple as browsing a tab into a force for good. So that's what I could definitely could remember, could actually pick up from what we just had as a conversation. So the work that you've done, and then with all the people you're collaborating with, it's a powerful reminder that sustainability doesn't have to be sacrificed, right? It could be built into tool we already use, and if we make it, that may be the best way to make it sustainable in the future. So people following us in our audience, I want to say so if you're curious to try this, like I say, later on I drop a link, and I think you can actually find out as well on Google. Just go, it is for water, download it, and then try for yourself, see how it works. That those small actions, they can create wave, right? So we can actually prove that together. So it was a pleasure for me talking to you this morning. So I'm talking to you from Renewables in Africa. So stay productive using tools like Elliot for Water. Stay purposeful. So we talked about obviously supporting water causes today, but it could be any other causes that obviously dear to you. And then, as I say, if we do that, we have a chance to build the world that we're all looking forward to see. So I see you in the next conversation, and it has been a pleasure to see you today. Take care. Bye bye.